Okay, so we're looking at our page 5 notes and we're doing practice with making conjectures. And remember, we have our process of what we're going to do on our page 4 notes. So if you don't have your page 4 notes, that's going to be a problem. But we're going to look at this first question. So if we think of this as the first question, it says the sum, so sum means add, of two odd numbers is always what? We got to finish that conjecture. Okay, and so according to our notes on page 4, our process is come up with 5 examples. So example 1, example 2, example 3, example 4, and example 5. Now it's at least 5 examples. So if we didn't understand after 5, then we'd go back and we'd look at, okay, example 6, example 7, example 8, until we can see what we're missing or what we need to be aware of. So sum of two odd numbers. So odd numbers, remember, end in 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9. They are not divisible by 2. Okay, so we could just do 3 plus 7. That equals 10. We could do 11 plus 5. That equals 16. We're just generating examples. It's not our job to know what's going on right now. We might have an idea, but we're just generating. We're just making a list. 9 plus 3 equals 7. I'm just grabbing random odd numbers. It doesn't matter which ones. I could even go big. 13 plus 25 equals 38. Or I could keep it pretty basic. 1 plus 3 equals 4. So I've generated 5 examples. And now I have to look at the sum is, so in other words, this is the sum for each of these. What's the pattern that we're noticing? Well, the pattern that we're hopefully noticing is that it's always even. Each of these numbers is even. Remember, even numbers end in 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0, and they're nicely divisible by 2. Okay? Let's look at another one. So the product means multiply, of an even number and an odd number is always what? Okay, so 5 examples. Example 1. Example 2. Example 3. Example 4. Example 5. Okay, so here we go. So even number. So I'm just going to grab an even number 2 times an odd number 5 equals 10. Okay, I'm going to grab another even number 4 times an odd number 7 equals 28. I'll grab an even number 8 times an odd number 3 equals 24. I'm going to grab an even number, we'll go big again, we'll go 20 times 7 equals 140. And we'll do, we'll take it back to an easy one. We'll just do 8 times 1. 1's an odd number. It's 8, right? So what we were doing here, just to let you know, we were picking an even number and multiplying it with an odd number and asking ourselves, what's the pattern? In other words, the product, the answer to multiplying. What do you notice about those 4 numbers? Well, I noticed that they are all even. Okay, so those 2 are pretty similar examples. Let's come down here and look. The sum means add, of the first n odd integers. Okay, we're just looking at the first n odd numbers. So we're still going to make our example list, but it's going to be a little bit more specific. We aren't going to get to guess just willy-nilly, like all over the place. Right? We were picking random even numbers, random odd numbers. Well, now our examples have to be a little bit more particular. So for example, the first n odd integers. So if we say, hey, I want just the first number, the first odd number is just 1. If I want the first two odd numbers, I want 1 and 3, and that equals 4. If I want the first three odd numbers, I want 1 and 3 and 5, and that equals 9. If I want the first four odd numbers, I want 1 and 3 and 5 and 7, and that's 16. If I want the first 5, that's 1 and 3 and 5 and 7 and 9, and that's 25. Okay? And so now we have to look at, okay, the sum, these totals, what's the pattern of these four numbers? Or 5 numbers, I should say. And some of you are like, Mister, I have no idea. Okay, if you're saying I have no idea, let's do example 6. It's okay to need more than 5. 6. So I need 1 and 3 and 5 and 7 and 9 and 11, and that's 36. I feel like 36 sort of seals the deal a little bit, but when n is 2, whoa, that's not what I wanted. When n is 2, this is 4. And when n is 3, that's 9. And when n is 4, that's 16. And when n is 5, and when n is 6, so the sum of the first odd integers is n times n. 1 times 1, 2 times 2. Okay, that's a tough one. That one was tough. Okay, we'll skip the last one for now because we've been going strong. We got 3 pretty solid examples. But remember, make your at least 5 examples, right? Generate your list, look for a pattern, and then say something about your pattern. You got this. You can do this.